Multiple animation studios continue to pop up, and for some that find major success, others seem to fall by the wayside. It's not for lack of talent, but sometimes the movies they make end up disappointing despite their best efforts. One such case is Vanguard Animation, founded by John H. Williams, one of the producers on the Shrek films. It was one of many CG studios that appeared in the mid-2000s hoping to grab a piece of that pie, and while it technically still exists, it has not released a theatrical film since 2008, and only has a direct-to-video sequel from 2010 as its final credit. Vanguard actually started off with solid promise, as it signed a multi-picture deal with Disney, with Michael Eisner hoping it would be their new Pixar. Their first feature was Valiant, which, in addition to being distributed by Disney, was also a co-production with famed British comedy staple Ealing Studios. Unfortunately, I found the final result possibly the worst animated movie released under the Disney name. The premise actually has a lot of potential, of its story of carrier pigeons during World War II. The possibility of a high-flying and exciting tribute to the real birds exists. However, the final result is just dull and crude, both visually and in the writing department. All the characters are your basic stereotypes, including the young hero who wants to do good but is constantly looked down upon. Almost every sort of cliché you can expect appears in this story, and there's a surprising lack of tension in any scenes. It's not helped by a weak villain and a surprisingly uninteresting vocal performance from Tim Curry. To make matters worse, he's even defeated in the lamest way possible. The humor doesn't work, with Ricky Gervais being the only voice actor who gets a couple of laughs as Bugsy, the stereotypically fat, smelly pigeon. I actually have to look up the character names, because they really are defined more by simple traits rather than actual personalities. The animation is surprisingly very stilted, with not much weight given to the birds flying. There should be real drama to the story, but rather than making a film that takes these pigeons seriously and actually has genuine stakes, Valiant relies on stupid jokes and dull characters. Whether it was because of Valiant's box office performance, or Michael Eisner leaving, or Disney buying Pixar, the deal with the Mouse House did not work out, and Vanguard moved to Lionsgate with their next film, Happily Never After. The trend of spoofing fairy tales was popular after Shrek's release, and this has to be the saddest and worst attempt to cash in on it. Revolving around the convoluted plot that all fairy tale stories are predestined and are watched over by a wizard and his apprentices, there is not a single laugh in this, and they sure try hard to get you to laugh. The humor is so forced, and it's even worse when they try to be hip and do modern references. The characters are especially unoriginal and have zero dimension and personality to them. The Sorcerer's Helpers even complete copies of Timon and Pumbaa, right down to their designs. The animation is very low quality, looking more like something you would find at the bottom of the bargain bin than a film that was released in cinemas worldwide. How they managed to rope in people like George Carlin and Sigourney Weaver, I have no idea. Rather than make me laugh, all Happily Never After did was make me groan and get on my nerves. Shrek worked because the jokes were fresh, the characters had charm and likability, and there was an actual story and genuine heart behind the pop culture references. This, sadly, has none of that. After that film flopped, Vanguard found itself switching distributors yet again and found themselves at 20th Century Fox for the release of Space Chimps. This veers more on the average side of things, which automatically makes it better than their first two efforts by default. When the film concentrates on the chimp astronauts, there are some decent laughs to be had, with Cheryl Hines, Andy Samberg, and Patrick Warburton providing some strong voice work. However, the human characters fall into the problem of being too annoying and one-dimensional. They fall into your basic scientist and evil CEO stereotypes rather than building actual personalities. The mission on the planet again alternates between funny moments with the chimps and less successful scenes with everyone else. The villain, voiced surprisingly by Jeff Daniels, is weak, and is not helped by how garish the designs and animation are on the aliens. This portion of the film even wastes Kristen Chenoweth. You do not waste Kristen Chenoweth on my watch. Otherwise, Space Chimps is a reasonably watchable, but very, very forgettable affair, and I'm glad the film's director, Kirk D'Amico, went on to do better things at DreamWorks. I actually wish he had taken this project to DWA, as they would have done wonders with this story. Since then, Vanguard made a direct-to-video Space Chimp sequel and nothing else. They're apparently still open for business, and they have projects in development according to that website, including another fairytale spoof and an adaptation of a Williams Steig book. Which leads me to believe John H. Williams really wants DreamWorks to greenlight Shrek 5. While their projects were certainly lacking, and their history was fairly rocky as they jumped from distributor to distributor, the possibility of a really good animated film existed somewhere in there. At the moment, they're just one of many forgotten CG studios that popped up around the time and just never took off in major ways. See you next time.